number one, have a talk with yourself. किनभने आफूलाई आफूभन्दा कसैले नजिक ल्याउने हाल्दैन, कसैले एनालाइज गर्दैन होइन. यु नो योर विकनेसेसहरू, योर स्ट्रेन्थहरू होइन, आफ्नो कमी कमजोरी आफूलाई भन्दा अरू कसैलाई थाहा हुँदैन. वेदर युआर गोइङ टु अ थेरापिस्ट, वेदर युआर टकिङ टु एनीवन एल्स, नो वान्स गोना नो अबाउट योर विकनेस मोर देन यु, राइट?
पास्ट एक्सपिरियन्स र रिफ्लेक्सन गरेर होइन गरेर आएपछि चाहिँ मलाई कस्तो फिल हुन्छ भने लाइक मैले यो सिचुएसनहरूबाट त डिल गरेर आइसकेको छु भने आई फिल लाइक आई क्यान फेस एनी काइन्ड अफ सिचुएसन क्या. एन्ड आइम नट सेङ दिस एज लाइक अ भेरी एरोगेन्ट वे होइन, आइ एम सेङ इन अ वे द्याट आई हेभ अ भरोसा छ क्या आफूलाई क्या, द्याट आई क्यान डिल विथ एनी काइन्ड अफ सिचुएसन because of what I have gone through in past, right? Namaste and welcome to Project Manaka Kura. Maसँग चाहिँ आज I have my co-host. Actually, no, he's not my co-host anymore.
No. Yeah.
He's not my co-host anymore.
Go
but,
again.
We have a history.
Something like that.
We have a history, but anyways, jokes aside, but I have my good friend Anwesh here with me. Anwesh, welcome to the pod. What's up, man?
Namaste, सबैजनालाई. I'm very excited. I think we're gonna switch languages in the middle. Sometimes go between Nepali, right? अनि कहिले हामी अङ्ग्रेजीमा switch गर्छौँ. तर I'm more than excited to be here. I've been rooting for Santos to start this podcast for a long time, and I think this has a lot of potential, and I'm more than happy to be here, man. Anytime, just give me a call.
Oh my god, I'm flattered. पहिले त सबैभन्दा लाइक सुरुमा त लेट्स टक अबाउट नेपालको हुन्छ नि ब्रिफ के भइरहेछ, बिकज आई फिल लाइक इभन द हामी त्यहाँ नभए तापनि होइन इट्स important to address it because it's there's like a huge revolution going on. Like, what do you think about it?
Again, a lot of things happened and things happened very fast. छिटो भइहाल्यो होइन, 24 घन्टामै सरकार पल्टिहाल्यो. त्यस्तो त सायदै कुनै हिस्ट्रीमा भएको थियो होला. नेपालको मात्रै नभएर अरू विभिन्न देशहरूको संसारमा पनि केही त्यस्तो भएको थिएन. This Gen Z type of revolution just literally broke down barriers, and it literally broke down the government and brought it to its knee. So it's very interesting to see what happened, and I'm rooting for Nepal always. Yeah, right? म जतिखेर पनि नेपालले त्यो गाना छ नि म नेपाललाई right? त्यो क्या जतिखेर पनि whenever I look at any videos, it's just that song comes to my head every time. So I'm rooting for Nepal, to have a peaceful but democratic election moving forward. Fair elections, fair people, and people who aren't corrupt, right? Because that's what we fought for. Like, again, Santos र म पनि Gen Z-मै पर्छौँ होइन. त्यही भएर like we know what this fight is about. अनि हामी नेपालमा नभए पनि like we know because we've seen this. Literally, we grew up in Nepal, right? For a long time, like me even more so than San, right? म 15 वर्षसम्म चाहिँ नेपालमै थिएँ. सन्तोष अलिकति अगाडि आएको थियो म भन्दा, but like we're always rooting for Nepal, right? What do you think?
Yeah, किनकि आफू जन्मेको देश हो नि त होइन. सो लाइक whenever you hear about corruption and everything that's been going on in Nepal होइन, कस्तो लाइक दुःख लाग्छ क्या. हुनु त हामीलाई असर पर्दैन होइन, बट एउटा भावनाको नाताले होइन त्यस्तो हुँदो रहेछ क्या. सो आइ एम ग्ल्याड देयर इज एक्चुली लट्स अफ गुड चेन्जेस ह्यापनिङ होइन. नयाँ इन्टरम गभर्मेन्ट इलेक्सन is coming up and there's lots of good things happening. Hopefully हुन्छ नि Nepal will finally move towards right direction. अनि Gen Zsलाई चाहिँ होइन, Gen Zsलाई चाहिँ ऊ चाहिँ गर्नै पर्छ क्या. We gotta give it to them because this was a very inspiring movement क्या. I was watching, like I've been following since the day one of this revolution, right? And it was kind of inspiring हुन्छ नि देखेर. But there was also like some tragic moment as well. कतिजनाले उनीहरूको लाइफ पनि गुमाए होइन. So it was kind of mixed emotions, but I think यो देशको लागि चाहिँ राम्रो कुरा हो. We're loving what we're seeing. त्यति भन्दै होइन आई वान kind of pay tribute to all the people that has lost their life, all the family that is
Mm-hmm.
suffering because of whatever happened. त्यो नहुनु पर्ने थियो तर भइगयो होइन. So all we can do is hope that their life doesn't go wasted and नयाँ नेपाल राम्ररी बनोस् होइन.
Right, absolutely. या यस्तो खालको मुभमेन्टहरू चाहिँ श्रीलङ्कामा पनि भयो होइन. अनि त्यस पछाडि बङ्गलादेशमा पनि त्यस्तो भयो. नेपालको सरकार ढलो, त्यस पछाडि फ्रान्सको सरकार ढलो है. Like this kind of inspiring moment that Gen Z has made all across the world. It's very inspiring. There's no comments about it, right? But at the same time, there's still a long way to go, right? I don't think we're out from the shadows, right? Because there's still people, there's still bad actors who are probably going to try to take what the movement was standing for and what the country is going to head towards, right? त्यही भएर चाहिँ अबको नेक्स्ट सरकारलाई चाहिँ एकदम केयरफुल भएर होइन, करप्सन एन्टी करप्सन ब्युरो द्याट एक्चुली वर्क्स होइन, त्यस्तो खालको करप्सन ब्युरोहरू सेटअप गरेर चाहिँ अब नयाँ नेपाल निर्माण गर्नु पर्यो क्या. जुन नेपाल चाहिँ हजुर म अनि हाम्रा छोरछोरीहरू पनि हुर्किँदाखेरि चाहिँ नडराउनु परोस्. एउटा महिलाले चाहिँ राति बस लिएर क्या कलेजबाट ब्याग घर जाँदाखेरि पनि नडराउनु परोस्. अथवा एउटा फुच्चे काहीँ किडन्याप हुन्छ कि के हुन्छ कि, अथवा आतङ्ककारीहरूले मार्छन् कि, अथवा प्रोटेस्ट हुँदाखेरि केही भइहाल्छ कि, अब मेरो छोरो गयो कलेज पढ्न अब ब्याक आउँछ कि आउँदैन भनेर कति बाबाआमालाई त्यस्तो फिल भएको थियो है यो मुभमेन्टले गर्दाखेरि. त्यस्तो चाहिँ फेरि नहोस् क्या. यो एकचोटि मुभमेन्ट जसमा चाहिँ मन लाग्छ 17जना जस्तो विद्यार्थीहरूले ज्यान गुमाए, 30जना मान्छेहरू मरे, यो चाहिँ फेरि चाहिँ नहोस् होइन. अनि त्यही भएर पिसफुल ट्रान्सफर अफ पावर जुन भन्छ नि त्यो होस् भन्ने म चाहिँ कामना गर्छु है. सन्तोष पनि यही कामना गर्छ. त्यही भएर चाहिँ all the best, like literally, to everyone. But yeah, I think Nepal really seriously lacks a lot of strong leaders, right? त्यतिकै बसेर मात्रै ट्विटरमा लेखेर मात्रै अथवा एक किसिमको रेभोल्युसन गरौँ भनेर क्या अब भन्दै एसीको कोठामा बसेर मात्रै चाहिँ रेभोल्युसन हुँदैन होइन. हामीले भन्नु खोजेको छैन कि, अथवा मैले भन्न नखोजेको छैन कि हामीले केही गरेछ भनेर अमेरिका बसेर. तर like people have to put their effort, right? Put their money where their mouth is, and Nepal seriously lacks a lot of good leaders, sadly. So I'm looking forward to people who are gonna stand out as good leaders in Nepal, right? What do you think?
Yeah, there's lots of good names coming out. हुन्छ नि बालन भयो होइन, अर्का साम्पाङ भयो, अनि there's lots of good leaders coming up होइन. Hopefully हुन्छ नि, because they have seen everything that has happened in past couple of decades क्या. देशमा के भइरहेछ, कति करप्सनहरू भइरहेछ होइन. So hopefully they will be able to steer the ship and take this country forward. किनकि अब त नयाँ जेनेरेसनको कुरा छ नि त होइन. we're talking about हामीहरूको नानीहरू, जेनजिसको नानीहरू होइन. किनकि यो यत्रो मुभमेन्ट भएर पनि केही सुधार आएन भने चाहिँ देन वी हेभ फेल्ड एज अ सोसाइटी हुन्छ नि, एज अ नेपाली,
As a generation.
या एज अ जेनेरेसन बेसिकली. या
Yeah,
किनकि
yeah.
अहिले पनि हामीले केही गर्नु नसक्यो भने कहिले गर्ने होइन त. अनि होपफुली लेट्स होप नेपालको बाहिरबाट राम्रो कुराहरू सुन्नु पाइयोस् होइन. त्यति भन्दै आई kind of want to get into आजको टपिक, हामीहरूको पडकास्टको टपिक. अनि आजको टपिक चाहिँ इन्ट्रेस्टिङ छ किनकि इट्स समथिङ द्याट आई लाइक म आफै पनि स्ट्रगल गर्छु होइन यो टपिकमा. अनि आई नो लाइक यु हेभ डन योर फेयर सेयर अफ लाइक वर्क इन टर्म्स अफ दिस टपिक होइन. सो मलाई चाहिँ लाग्यो कि आई फिल लाइक यु विल बी अ गुड पर्सन टु kind of like talk about this and we can have a good conversation about this. So the topic is हुन्छ नि confidence क्या. Confidence. अनि I am not the person that has most confident होइन. I mean some like एरियाहरूमा छ लाइफमा, but I know like I'm not the most confident person, and that's also one of the reason that I'm doing this podcast, is so I can kind of work on my speaking and my confidence as well. I know you have done your own fair share of work. What do you think about this topic?
I think it's a very interesting topic, and your topic चाहिँ यस्तो हो कि it touches a lot of things, right? It touches like building confidence, right? It's like building any kind of thing. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes water. It's like if you bring a plant home, right? Like you have to water it, you have to put some efforts on it. So a bunch of things. And I'm going to be the first person to say that it's not that I have perfect confidence 100% of the time, or that I have confidence to the point like, I'm arrogant, right? So there's different things and different ways to tackle this thing, but I think it's a very interesting topic. And like, we've talked about this on and off camera so many times. But again, I think it's a very uh, everybody wants to have it, and not a lot of people do, right? But everybody wants to have it. But the key is empathy with confidence, right? It's a type of thing that's a double-edged sword, because if you're overconfident in yourself, then you can be arrogant, right? And that's not the direction that most people want to head into. But to the point, confident to the point where you're comfortable in your own skin, in the way you share things, in the way you enunciate ideas, like things like that. That's what people are looking after, right? So that's what I would love to get into this topic, because I think as a person, because I'm 28 years old, right? And I've done a lot of things in my life that has led me to have the confidence that I have now. And even now, I wouldn't say like it's 100% perfect all the time.
Yeah, तिमीले धेरै त त्यहाँ कभर गर्यो होइन. You mentioned lots of things, अनि like you said, confident is not about only one thing, right? It's a combination of multiple things. धेरै थोक मिलेर हामीहरू कतिको कन्फिडेन्स छौँ हो त्यसमा it kind of play factor into it, होइन. तिम्रो विचारमा चाहिँ like where do you think confidence comes from, like the origin of confidence हुन्छ नि?
Hmm. It might be different for everybody, right? सबैको लागि एकदम फरक फरक हुन सक्छ हैन. But I think true confidence, the kind of confidence where you can be dominant in a situation that you have to be dominant, but also like, acknowledge other people's feelings and be empathetic to other people. I think that's the kind of confidence that I was always looking out for, right? And that the kind of confidence that I wanted to achieve, I achieved it from really getting to know myself really deeply, right? Getting to know myself, your fears, your wants, your needs, everything like that, right? सुरुमा सबभन्दा मैले चाहिँ like the journey to confidence may be different, so your mileage may vary, right? But the way that I tackle this problem is I wanted to, किनभने आफूभन्दा अरू कसैले नजिकले चिन्दैन आफूलाई होइन. आफूले आफूलाई धेरै नजिकबाट निहालेको हुन्छ है. अब म मेरो बारेमा सबैभन्दा बेसी कसले जान्छ, ओके, लाइक देयर माइट बी your significant other that knows you, but or there might be your parents that know you, अथवा दिदीभाइहरू भाइ बहिनीहरूले तिमीलाई चिन्छन् होला होइन धेरै नजिकबाट. तर the person that knows you the most is you. And once you get to know yourself very close, once you get to know what are the things that you're afraid to do, right? What are the things that you can do? And like, what are your wants? What are your needs? And like things like that. Once you get to know those, I think that's how you build real like self-confidence, right? In yourself. भित्रैबाट अब भन्छ नि आत्मा बल आउनु पर्यो होइन. अनि त्यहीबाट नै like at least the road for me was finding what I'm very strong in, like my strong suits, and then going from there. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think gives people more confidence?
But like I kind of want to add it on what you said, भनेपछि कन्फिडेन्टको लागि चाहिँ इट्स इम्पोर्टेन्ट टु नो योर सेल्फ होइन त, किनकि आफूले आफ्नो बारेबाट चिन्यो जान्यो होइन, लाइक इफ यु नो मोर अबाउट योर सेल्फ देन द बेटर यु विल नो एन्ड द बेटर आइडिया अफ यु विल लाइक गेट अन लाइक हाउ थिङ्स आर होइन. Especially like I think it's important to say that emotional intelligence is very important when it comes to building confidence, right? Okay, like can I say
Right.
that?
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
मेरो मेरो विचारमा चाहिँ like I said, I'm also kind of working through all this, you know, like building confidence, stuff like that. I think it kind of comes from within, you know, like confidence is not
Mm-hmm.
something that you're born with. It's not innate. It's not something that you're born with, होइन. अनि it comes from self efficacy क्या. मिनिङ भन्नाले अब हामीलाई केही गर्नु छ, केही अचिभ गर्नु छ भने राइट अवे हामीहरू त त्यो टपिकमा वा त्यो टास्कमा त राम्रो हुँदैन नि त. द मोर वी डु द बेटर वी गेट एन्ड द बेटर वी गेट द मोर कन्फिडेन्ट वी गन गेट क्या. सो मेरो
Mm-hmm.
विचारमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क कन्फिडेन्ट कम्स फ्रम विथिन and it's you know it's something that everybody can work on, not
Mm-hmm.
only you know like no matter like what you have been through with your life, it's something that you can work on and it's something that you can build on. तर like Anwesh भने जस्तै like you gotta know yourself क्या. The reflection that you have to have with yourself, the you know inner talk that you have to have with yourself often. I think that's where self confidence comes from, is by knowing yourself.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. मेरे केसमा हेर्ने हो भने पनि like I'm gonna be brutally honest, right? मेरे केसमा हेर्ने हो भने पनि self confidence चाहिँ like I wasn't born with it, right? I was a very shy kid, and until like 10th grade, right? Santos Ramon सँगै स्कुल गएको हो. Like until 12th grade, I was a very shy kid, and you know something just flipped, and well, I can say a bunch of things led to this, right? किसिमको रियाक्सन जस्तो कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ like I became the person that I am because of the experiences that I went through. But I can tell you for certain that I wasn't born with confidence, right? Or the like all you see here is like the build of confidence. Nobody is born with anything, right? Like nobody's born to be a driver. They practice, and they practice real fucking real hard. I almost slipped, but they practice really
It's okay.
hard. They practice really hard to have confidence. So I think that's Sam said it the best. Santosle ekdam thik banaecha हैन? Or at least it was the case for us, right? That we found a way to be confident in ourselves by looking and analyzing with yourself, and having like a real conversation with yourself, like you know आफूसँग एकदम real भएर कुरा गर्ने के, like you know, like what's making you scared, like why are you scared, right? Like what are the things that I can do to instantly improve confidence, right? Maybe that comes down to like grooming, right? Looking the way that makes you feel more confident, the way that you dress up, right? Like dressing up gives another confidence. If you want to get into a field, like let's say you want to get into being the best guy that sells cars, right? And you don't know anything about cars, then your confidence is going to go down when somebody asks you a question, right? But then if you know literally everything about the car that you're selling, then your confidence is going to go high. So त्यही रिसर्च गर्ने होइन, आफ्नो कुरामा रिसर्च गर्ने. I'm not saying that everyone is like you're gonna be perfect and you're gonna have confidence for the rest of your life. This is not that, but this is going to give you a foundation that you can build on, and it takes years and years of being honest with yourself and being real with yourself to build the confidence that you want to have, like you know, that other people see. And I can tell you for sure that like you know, when you walk into a room with confidence, then people look at you like literally your aura is different, and once you get to that point you really understand it, you know. And again, going back to what San said, that is what boosts your confidence even more. But now, like, it's on to you if you want to tame it down to the point where you're not overconfident in yourself and you're not being annoying and you're not being to pain, you know? So it comes to being honest with yourself. I think that's the best start for any of this.
Right.
What do you think?
म आफ्नै सिचुएसनमा पनि हेर्छु क्या लाइक सम टाइम लाइक आई ट्राई टु लाइक एनालाइज माइ सेल्फ वान आइम लाइक फिलिङ द मोस्ट कन्फिडेन्ट राइट एन्ड सम अफ द थिङ्स द्याट आई नोटिस चाहिँ लाइक हुन्छ नि एउटा त द वे द्याट आइम ड्रेस एन्ड द वे लुक होइन त्यो आई थिङ्क इट म्याटर्स लाइक इट म्याटर्स एट सम पोइन्ट मेबी नट
Mm-hmm.
totally, but it does matter to some extent, right? अनि अर्को त like what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, yeah, like my emotion state. So
Mm-hmm.
I think confidence ko लागि चाहिँ I think it's also a mindset भन्दा पनि हुन्छ होला.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mindset क्या.
त्यसो एउटा क्वेसन चाहिँ सोध्छु नि त होइन लेट्स से लाइक मैले तिमीलाई आज भेटघाट गर्नुको लागि बोलाएँ होइन रेस्टुरेन्टमा ल जाउँ सन्तोष आज खाउँ भनेर भने अनि
Date हो
तिमीलाई
क्या?
चाहिँ डेटै हो हेर न पुरा डेटिङकै पुरा पोसाक लगाएर आएको छु त यस्तो त म डेटिङकोमा पनि लगाउँदिनँ like this is only for you so you're a special guy okay so I'm taking you out on the date डेटको लागि लगिरहेको छु अरे क्या तिमीलाई अनि मैले भने ल सन्तोष आज यसो मोमोसोमो खाइदिउँ न त बाहिर आऊ होइन तर अब तिमीलाई घरैमा बसेर आनन्द लागिरहेछ होइन तिमी मुभी हेरेर रिल्याक्स गरिरहेछौ र अब आउने मन छैन होइन अथवा भने मैले ल सँगै जिम जाम अथवा whatever राइट अनि तिमीलाई जानु मन छैन तर लाइक the first step is the hardest, right? But then once you drag yourself out of the house and अनि तिमी भेट्छौ आफ्नो साथीहरूलाई अथवा तिमी केही गर्न जान्छौ like that I feel like boosts your confidence, right? Like even like this is so like this becomes so much apparent when you go to the gym, right? Like when you go to before going to the gym you don't want to go to the gym, and then once you start going to the gym you get more confidence interacting with other people, looking at other people who are inspiring you, looking at yourself, looking at the changes that you have, and then you want to go more, right? त्यो पनि एक किसिमको कन्फिडेन्स हो नि त होइन सो आई थिङ्क इन अ वे इट इज अ माइन्डसेट बट इट्स अ माइन्डसेट द्याट you can train and you can develop and you can make it stronger. It's not that you have to wait for that mindset to come to you. It's that sometimes you just have to drag yourself out of the house to get to that mindset. Or what do you think?
Right. तिमीले भने जस्तै I actually have a perfect example for this. अस्ति भर्खर नै so lately I've been having hard time going to the gym. Don't tell anybody. I've been having hard time going to the gym होइन अनि मेरो चाहिँ एउटा कामको साथी छ द्याट वी वर्क टुगेदर होइन लाइक सेम जिम पनि जान्छौँ अनि मैले उसलाई भने क्या लाइक ओके यति मन्डे म जिम आएन भने होइन आम गोना गिभ यु $20 म चाहिँ युजली त्यसो गर्छु क्या बिकज द्याट्स वान वे टु होल्ड माई एकाउन्टेबल राइट त्यसो गऱ्यो भने चाहिँ
Maybe we should start doing that. I would be a millionaire. म त लखपति भइसक्छु by the end of the year.
अनि सो लाइक मलाई चाहिँ जानै मन थिएन क्या जिम जानै मन थिएन बट आई वाज लाइक हुन्छ नि लाइक मैले केही भने नि त लाइक आई गिभ अ प्रमिस होइन कमिटमेन्ट गरेँ नि त होइन अनि सलु भाइले भने जस्तै नमाग्नु कमिटमेन्ट गरेँ नि त होइन सो लाइक मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्यो भने आई सुडन्ट लाई टु माइसेल्फ क्या किनकि एकचोटि वचन दिएपछि त कुरा गर्नुपर्छ लाइक पुरा गर्नुपर्छ नि त वचन होइन सो ढिलो भए पनि म जिम गएँ होइन अनि एक दुईवटा ऱ्याप्सहरू गरेँ होइन अनि लाइक आई जस्ट फिल पावरफुल लाइक थाहा छैन कहाँबाट आयो होइन द्याट वाज काइन्ड अफ वियर्ड होइन बट आई जस्ट फिल पावरफुल अनि आम लाइक सी दिस इज वाइ आई निड टु लाइक कम टु द जिम मोर बिकज लाइक यु जस्ट totally feel different, right? And it's not that like it's not like a cocky type of like difference, or it's not like हुन्छ नि म चाहिँ त्यो सिचुएसनबाट त्यही लर्न गरेँ कि that if you made a commitment then you should keep it होइन and start small, like it does not have to be something big, right? किनकि nothing is built all of a sudden, right? Everything takes time. So
Agreed.
same thing with confident. It takes time. So do stuff that you feel confident, right? Do stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you that gives you energy. So
Mm-hmm.
म चाहिँ त्यही नोटिस गरेँ क्या मेरो सिचुएसनबाट.
Hmm? I agree. I agree. 100%. सेम होइन फेरि यस्तो पनि कुरा आउँछ कि कमिटमेन्ट एक त आफूले आफूलाई वचन दिएको त निभाउनै पर्यो होइन एटलिस्ट अब लोग्ने मान्छे भएपछि होइन नो अफेन्स टु अल द गर्ल्स आउट देयर बट एटलिस्ट लाइक यु हेभ टु किप your word, right? एकचोटि बोलिदिइसकेपछि चाहिँ बोली फिर्काउनु मिल्दैन होइन अनि you have to keep your promise first of all. Like you gotta be a man of moral and integrity, whatever that might mean to you, right? But at least have some kind of moral kind of integrity and at least have some kind of value, right? I think that's another layer that adds to the confidence. So if you look at confidence, it's not just one dimensional thing, it's a very three-dimensional thing, right? It's like an onion. The more you peel, the more there's like layers onto it that wraps around that gives you more confidence, right? So सन्तोषले भने जस्तै एकदम like I agree 100%. तर चाहिँ सबैभन्दा बाट सुरु गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सबभन्दा ठिक हुन्छ होइन द इजिएस्ट राइट एन्ड इट माइट बी डिफरेन्ट फर एभ्री वान एल्स राइट इफ यु रिड जोर्डन पिटरसन psychologist right, the 12 things to do, and then the first thing that you do is make your bed, right? बिहान उठेर ओछ्यान मिलाउनु. Like I know a lot of people don't do it, but it really boosts your confidence because that's a very small win that you get every day, right? अनि त्यो पनि अब होइन गाह्रो छ. I know there's a lot of people who battle depression, who battle different kind of anxiety attacks, whether it's social anxiety, personal anxiety, whatever it may be. त्यस्तो छ भने चाहिँ अब even small things like bathing yourself, right, and taking a shower or brushing your teeth. I think that's the most important, right? Because I took a psychology class and this would be talked so many times, like brushing your teeth in the morning is the literally smallest win that you can give to yourself, right? So if you don't feel like doing that, then start with brushing your teeth and then move on to a little bit harder. Maybe it's making your bed, maybe it's making your breakfast. Maybe it's going out in the sun for 5 minutes, right? Maybe it's 30 minutes of walk that's in the park, and then just that repertoire, right? Building yourself with these small, tiny habits that just compounds over 365 days, maybe 900 days, 1,000 days, and then you look drastically different than when you started, right? And then towards the end, and the end goal is never right. End goal त कहिले आउँदैन होइन, because you're always trying to improve yourself, and I hope everyone is right, that you're trying to improve yourself. So I think that's where I would like, I know I started something like that, and I think if I were given an advice to someone who was like a younger version of me, that's where I would start. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when it comes to like building something, तिमीले भने जस्तै होइन, like start slow, and the more you do, you know, it's gonna compound over time, and some result might not show right away. Like instant gratification, we shouldn't really be after that, you know. So like look for something that's tangible, that's gonna give you a longer term result. Just भन्यो तिमीले भने जस्तै like habits, morning habits is crucial. Keeping promises to yourself is crucial, and like anything that's gonna help you, yeah, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of growing, because we all should be striving for that. And I want to add something, हुनु त like हामीले briefly अघि touch गर्यौँ, but I know like you have done like lots of emotional intelligent work हुन्छ नि, like last year and over past couple of years. Like तिम्रो विचारमा चाहिँ like what's the connection between emotional intelligence and confidence that people feel?
I feel that's like such a complicated question, right? And अलिकति background दिन्छु म हैन सन्तोषले, like the reason why he's talking about emotional intelligence with me is because we've been friends for 15 years, something like that, right? Schoolदेखिको साथी हो, like, and we're still good friends.
Yeah.
Good friends to the point where we, like, talk to each other, like, every other day or every day or every couple of days, right? And I know a lot of people don't have that luxury, so that's why he's asking these deep personal questions, which I don't mind at all. But um, I think the best way that I can answer that question is being brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only going to do it here, right? At your podcast. Um, Honestly, the reason I got emotional intelligence is because of a lot of experiences in the past, right? And whether it's like relationship experiences or like, like again, going back to my childhood, I was a very shy kid. And until 10th grade, I was a very shy kid, right? So going back to square one, asking yourself, what are you afraid of, right? And there's a thing called trial by fire. Like, it's not literally jumping into fire, होइन, तर आगोमा जम्प गरेर होइन, but the initiation is basically whatever you're afraid of, you do it. नसोचिकन गरिहाल्ने, होइन. But also looking at people who are role models, right? Role models are को छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब growing up, my dad always been a role model. And then growing up, I had several like celebrities, right, who were also role models, like John Cena, or like a huge WWE fan. And
Same.
the reason why, yeah, the reason why like I even wanted to speak English is because of WWE, right? I wanted to be a wrestler growing up. So John Cena, The Rock, people with like huge moral commitment, right? These people like wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go out work, right? And then looking at that, but also looking at people in Nepal, right? नेपालमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ प्रायः जस्तो सबैजना कृषि खेती गर्ने होइन. प्लस अब हजुरहरूलाई त अलिक थाहा छैन, तर सन्तोष र म दुइटै नेपालबाट रेफ्युजी भएर आएको है. तर रेफ्युजी हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ हामीसँग सायद सबै सुविधाहरू थिएन. अनि त्यो सुविधाहरू नभएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि we saw life in a very hard way, right? Without electricity, without internet, without a bunch of things that people think are just regular everyday life amenities, right? We didn't have that growing up. सो त्यतिखेर चाहिँ अब ड्याडी मम्मीले काम गरेको अङ्कलहरू होइन, वरिपरि सबैले काम गर्नुभएको होइन, चाहे त्यो खेतीमा होस् होइन, चाहे त्यो गएर मजदुरी गरेर होस्, चाहे लाइक केही पनि होस् होइन, लाइक गेटिङ इन्सपायर फ्रम द्याट. अनि म नेपाल जाँदाखेरि पनि त्यही देख्छु होइन, त्यही आँखामा आउँछ सम्झेको. अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि झन् इन्सपायर्ड हुइन्छ क्या, कि एक किसिमको केही गरौँ होइन. एउटा चाहना जुन चाहिँ अब हुन्छ नि त, अब नेपालबाट सपना बोकेर आएको मान्छे होइन अमेरिका, अनि आएपछि चाहिँ केही गरौँ केही हौँ भन्ने चाहना होइन. अनि त्यस पछाडि अभियसली अब सबैको लाइफमा अब त्यो रिलेसनसिप ब्रेकअप हुन्छ, यस्तो हुन्छ त्यस्तो हुन्छ होइन. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि पनि लाइक लर्निङ फ्रम इट, एभ्री टाइम लर्निङ फ्रम इट. अब त्यो आफ्नो कारणले होस् अथवा कसै अरूको कारणले होस् होइन, त्यसबाट सिक्ने. अनि सिकेर चाहिँ लाइक साँच्चैमा मनन गर्ने होइन, लाइक बाई हार्ट, एनालाइजिङ yourself and being brutally honest with yourself and holding yourself accountable. And I did a bunch of that in my 20s, and I'm glad that I did, because I wouldn't be the person that I am if I hadn't done any of those. So the journey to emotional intelligence, it was definitely not straight. एकदम घुमाउरो बाटो थियो होइन, फेरि विकल्पको जस्तै घुमाउरो बाटो थियो, धरान जस्तै घुमाउरो बाटो थियो होइन, पहाडको जस्तै एकदम घुमाउरो बाटो थियो. But I'm not saying I'm there, right? Emotional intelligence-मा चाहिँ म टुप्पोमा पुगेँ भनेर भन्दिनँ होइन. I'm still somewhere down here, right? And I think it's an ongoing battle, right, for probably the rest of my life. but I know I want to be someone that other people can look up to, right? त्यो होइन अनि त्यो प्लस अब आफैमा क्या इम्प्रुभमेन्ट गर्छु म चाहिँ होइन म यसरी नै चाहिँ बस्दिनँ अनि मलाई यसरी बस्दाखेरि चाहिँ क्या हो सेटिस्फाइड हुँदैन होइन एक किसिमको लाइफमा केही गर्नु छ केही हुनु छ भने त्यो अब के भन्छ अब एक किसिमको मेन्टालिटी भन्छ नि होइन त्यस्तो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ लाइक द्याट्स द रिजन वाइ आई वान्टेड टु लाइक इम्प्रुभ माइसेल्फ राइट बी अ बेटर पर्सन बी अ बेटर सन बी अ better partner be a better friend right
Mm.
and I think that was the journey that I went through not being emotionally intelligent or intelligent. No, I'm just kidding. And going to becoming someone who I can be proud of myself, you know? And then again, फेरि अब आफूलाई आफूमा प्राउड भएपछि त होइन not to the point that it's arrogant but आफूलाई आफैसँग प्राउड भएपछि त्यसले झन् कन्ट्रिब्युट गर्छ हजुरको सेल्फ कन्फिडेन्स र कन्फिडेन्समा होइन सो it was a very winding road, right, for me. But what do you think? What do you think about that? And what kind of journey did you have? Because I know you had a very, like
Oh my
winding
god.
journey like mine too.
तिमीले त मेरो जर्नी नै सबै एक्सपोज गरिदियो जस्तो लाग्यो यार मलाई त लाइक लिटरली द्याट्स हाउ आम फिलिङ राइट नाउ आम लाइक दिस गाइस तर यस्तो लाइक हुन्छ नि आई मिन we talk off cameras all the time, you know, like I know like things you have been through and you know what I have been through, you know. अनि तिमीले भने जस्तै I think emotional intelligence or maturity in general comes from dealing with situation, होइन किनकि जिन्दगीमा we all face different थोकहरू होइन like even with me personally like in last couple of years a lot has happened. I lost my mom, and you know other things happen अनि त्यो सिचुएसनबाट चाहिँ डिल गरेर आएपछि अहिले चाहिँ मलाई कस्तो फिल हुन्छ भने मैले यो सिचुएसनहरूबाट डिल गरेर आइसकेको छु होइन किनकि लुजिङ योर मम यु नो समबडी द्याट्स भेरी क्लोज टु यु त्यो त सानो कुरा होइन नि त होइन लाइक
No.
हुनु त वी अल डाई वान डे होइन वी अल डाई वान डे तर त्यो जब हुन्छ नि त्यो अर्कै उयो हुँदो रहेछ क्या अहिले सोच्छु कि त्यो सिचुएसनबाट म कसरी पार भयो क्या त्यस्तो फिल हुन्छ क्या लाइक इफ आई गो थ्रु सिमिलर सिचुएसन अगेन आई डोन्ट थिङ्क आई विल बी एबल टु ह्यान्डल इट होइन तर अहिले सोच्छु इट गिभ्स मी यस्तो ऊर्जा दिन्छ क्या लाइक इट गिभ्स मी इट
Courage.
makes me very powerful in terms of like what I can do क्या अनि यसो सोच्छु लाइक मैले यो सिचुएसनमा त डिल गरेर आएँ भने लाइक वाट्स वर्स आई क्यान फेस इन लाइफ हुनु त अझै भोग्नु बाँकी छ अझै गर्नु छ अझै बिकज यु नेभर नो वाट लाइफ क्यान थ्रो एट यु होइन अनि अझै डिल गर्नु छ होइन तर पास्ट एक्सपिरियन्स र रिफ्लेक्सन गरेर होइन गरेर आएपछि चाहिँ मलाई कस्तो फिल हुन्छ भने लाइक मैले यो सिचुएसनहरूबाट त डिल गरेर आइसकेको छु भने I feel like I can face any kind of situation. Yeah, not, and I'm not saying this as like a very arrogant way. You know, I'm saying in a way that I have a bharosa छ क्या आफू आफूलाई क्या that I can deal with any kind of situation because of what I have gone through in past, right? And that what kind of gives me courage to just push forward, होइन अनि after I lose my mom मैले चाहिँ I made a lot of drastic changes to my life होइन किनकि I wasn't liking what I was, you know, becoming, you know, like मलाई चित्तै बुझेन क्या आफू like the habit that I was doing on a daily basis, the things that I was approaching or the things that I was chasing, होइन अनि I was like, you know what, something's gotta change अनि because of my past experience, I feel like I am a better person. I'm working on creating the life that I want, होइन and I'm making all these changes. So definitely तिमीले भने जस्तै confident and emotional intelligence does comes with what do you go through life, होइन and I think emotional intelligence and confident they go hand to hand like tandem with each other, होइन किनकि you can I don't think you can have one without other, क्या like they go together. So it's really important to reflect on your life, reflect on the hardship that you have faced and kind of like हुन्छ नि ask yourself questions. And I think like especially right now we don't do that enough. किनकि always like हुन्छ नि we are bombarded with social medias or family responsibility, but I think it's important to have a silence moment with yourself, okay, where you can talk to yourself or where you can just you know just try to like know what's going on with you. And the more you know about yourself, the better you're gonna get in terms of knowing yourself. And the more you know yourself, the better you're gonna feel about yourself, and that's how you gain confidence. Marty, Alexa, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. एकदम समर्थन गर्छु है. But I also want to say like, and I'm very proud of you. Like you've come a long way, and I've seen this personally, right? Personally, भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ, you've gone through a lot of things, and I'm very proud of you, man. Like you know, a lot of people would break down, a lot of people would give up, but not you, man. So like in my journey too, like seeing people like you too, like you know, as a friend, you're very inspiring. You know, well, whether it's like you know working out or any things like this, right, in life, because it's very hard to go through something like that, right? No one can deny that. But the way that you have handled it, the way that you have managed it, just looking at it, it's very inspiring. And I just want to say, man, I'm very proud of you, and you've come a long way. And I can't wait to see more because I feel like your journey is just getting started, especially with this podcast, with everything else, you wanting to be a content creator, you know, you wanting to leave a legacy behind. I think, you know, odds are in your favor. And I, you know, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best, bro. But I want to see you succeed. You know, I want you to like shatter the goals. You know, I want you to be the biggest goddamn like commentator, like you know, whether it's like political commentator or whether it's just you know talk about things like you know about yourself, self confidence. Like I want to see you do big things, and I know you're gonna do big things. So I just want to say, man, you're very inspiring. What can I
No,
say?
I appreciate that, and I think what helps, like, and I'm not saying this to like just to say it, right? I think what helps is like having friends like you in my life, right?
Okay.
Um, no, I'm serious. Like I know, like I don't, I say this lots of time, but like it's like it's hard to find true friends, right? And you have been with
True.
me like through like good times, bad times. So I appreciate your friendship, and like I appreciate what we have. अनि त्यति भन्दैमा like I know we mumbled a lot, right? I kind of want to like kind of batch it. And so like what do you think like हुन्छ नि to like have a confident, like what's some of the things that somebody can do to like start gaining confidence or like becoming a confident person?
Yeah. Again, going back to what you were saying earlier, thank you. Thank you for those kind words, right? But you're very inspiring too, man. And like we've been together, and like you know, this is gonna sound very suspicious. Sauce, I know. We've been together for like what 15 years, and we've been together through like you know several relationships, and you know we're still here.
Yeah.
We've outlasted so many relationships that we've had, like you know, like separately on our journey. So I'm very glad to have a friend like you, man. I'm very proud of you. You're very inspiring, and shout out to more record breaking relationship goal years. But going back to what you were saying, confidence कसरी ल्याउने, I would go back to the basics, right? Uh, have a number one, have a talk with yourself. किनभने आफूलाई आफूभन्दा कसैले नजिक निहाल्दैन, कसैले एनालाइज गर्दैन होइन. यु नो यर विकनेसेसहरू, यर स्ट्रेन्थहरू होइन, आफ्नो कमी कमजोरी आफूलाई भन्दा अरू कसैलाई थाहा हुँदैन. वेदर युआर गोइङ टु अ थेरापिस्ट, वेदर युआर टकिङ टु एनी वान एल्स, No one's gonna know about your weakness more than you, right? The first is identifying your weakness. अनि त्यस पछाडि दोस्रो चाहिँ you work on your weakness, right? And whether it's like you struggle to get up out of bed, right? Or you struggle to say go meet your friends, or you're struggling to go to the gym. सिम्पल इक्जाम्पलहरू दिएको होइन, त्यसबाट सुरु गर्ने अनि सिम्पल एक्टिभिटीहरूबाट सुरु गर्ने क्या। अब बिहान अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ 8 बजे उठ्नु हो भने चाहिँ सुरुमा 8:30 बजे उठ्ने होइन, अनि त्यस पछाडि 8:15मा उठ्ने अथवा 8:10मा उठ्ने अनि त्यस पछाडि 8मा जाने होइन। If you're struggling, if you're someone with extreme anxiety and depression and disorders, then start with brushing your teeth. That's the best thing you can do, right? Start with washing your face, brushing your teeth. Ani, this is already start with making your bed, right? Because I know there's a lot of people like Nepali people, like Indian people, a lot of people from our culture. Daddy मम्मीले बेड बनाइदिनुहुन्छ होइन, अथवा बुढीले बेड बनाइदिन्छ, अथवा डेडी मम्मीले अथवा बुढीले बेड बनाइदिन्छ भनेर छोडिदिने होइन। No, no, no. Go back to your basics. Make your bed, right? You make the bed that you sleep in tomorrow, right? त्यही भएर सुरु त्यसबाट गर्ने अथवा गएर सनलाइट हेर्ने होइन। सिम्पल बेसिक थिङ्स लाइक द्याट। एन्ड देन त्यस पछाडि भने त अब आफूलाई केमा चाहिँ अब्बल हुनु छ होइन, आफूलाई अब अब्बल हुन्छ भने त्यसको बारेमा अनुसन्धान गर्ने, रिसर्च गर्ने। लाइक यु gotta get yourself used to the point where you think that you are the best goddamn salesperson ever, right? Not to the point where it's too arrogant, but to the point where you have confidence that you know what you're talking about, right? यति भन्दैमा अब ठग्दिने होइन, जे पाए त्यही भन्दिने होइन, but actually like knowing your material होइन। अनि त्यस पछाडि like let's say you want to be an insurance agent, you know everything about insurance. You want to be a politician, you know everything about the history and politics of what's going on, right? नेपालको सन्दर्भमा हो भने त्यसको बारेमा त्यो भयो होइन, अथवा अब बिजनेसमा जानु छ भने you know everything about your competitors, everything about yourself, and you just keep doing it over and over again. अनि त्यो एक किसिमको स्केड्युलै बनाइदिने कि आफ्नो लाइफमा होइन, to the point that it starts becoming a habit, right? And once a habit forms after 15 or 20 days, it's very hard to get rid of a habit. So I would start with that and then build small habits that accumulate over time, and then over say a period of 30 days or 60 days, you're gonna see a noticeable change in yourself, and that change is gonna be towards a positive direction. So if you're struggling with any of that, that's where I would start, because that's exactly what I did to start.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything that you said. Starting slow and just building on what you're doing. अनि अर्को कुरा चाहिँ I think मेरो विचारमा आत्मविश्वास, that's also a big thing होइन, because if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to?
No one else will, right? अनि सुरुमा म अनेस्ट पनि हुन्छु होइन, सुरुमा मेरो मात्रै प्रब्लम पनि होइन होला, धेरैजनाको प्रब्लम होला। सुरुमा आत्मविश्वास नआउनु पनि सक्छ होइन, सुरुमा एकदम ल म त केही गर्नै सक्दिनँ अथवा यो गर्नै सक्दिनँ, होस् म गर्दिनँ भन्नु पनि एकदम आउनु सक्छ होइन, नआउने होइन, एकदम नर्मल कुरा हो होइन, सबै अनेस्टली भन्दाखेरि एकदम नर्मल कुरा हो। बट अब आफूमा त्यो क्या म गर्छु, यो जेसुकै होस्, ला म जेसुकै होस्, एक दिनको लागि अथवा यो घन्टाको लागि म गर्छु यो होइन, चाहे पढ्नु होस् अथवा चाहे जिम जानु होस्, म गर्छु आज भनेर चाहिँ लिने क्या। सुरुमा त आत्मबल आउँदैन नि होइन, अनेस्टली भन्दाखेरि होइन, सुरुमा अब त्यो म्याजिकली आएर चाहिँ म चाहिँ जान्छु भन्ने पर्ख्यो भने चाहिँ त्यो कहिले नि हुँदैन। म अहिले नै भनिदिन्छु होइन, त्यसको
सुरु चाहिँ गर्नु पर्यो, त्यही त त्यो सुरु गरेपछि बिस्तारै गर्दै गर्दा त्यो आत्मविश्वास, माइन्डसेट सबै त आफै आउँछ। बट द बिगेस्ट थिङ इज टेकिङ एक्सन क्या एक्सन टेक गऱ्यो भने त केही चेन्ज हुने हो न त भोलि गर्छु पर्सि गर्छु भनेर बेडमै बसिरह्यो भने त 1 वर्ष काट्छ देन युल जस्ट रियलाइज ओ माई गाड what the heck the time has gone so
अर्को वर्ष पो आएछ भनेर
अनि हामीले कन्फिडेन्ट कसरी बनाउनु भनेर त कुरा गऱ्यौँ होइन कन्फिडेन्ट किलरहरू पनि होला नि त होइन देयर इज गाट बी लाइक नेगेटिभ साइड टु इट what do you think like some of the like negative confident killers
सुरुमा त त्यही कन्फिडेन्ट किलर भनेको त बेसी एरोगेन्ट भयो भने होइन समटाइम्स रेज ब्लाइन्ड्स अ पर्सन लाइक लिटरली यु लुक एट हक मुभिज हेर्दाखेरि होइन रेजले गर्दाखेरि एकदम मान्छे नै फरक हुन्छ होइन अनि अब त्यही नै हो होइन बेसी कन्फिडेन्ट भयो भने पनि बाँदर बेसी बाठो भयो भने लड्छ भनेर भन्छ नि त होइन त्यस्तै कुरो हुन्छ राइट अनि कन्फिडेन्सकोमा पनि त्यही हो बेसी बाठो भयो अनि बेसी क्या ओभर कन्फिडेन्ट भयो भने त यु नो there are people who are better than you like sometimes it's good to think that you're the best to ever do it but you have to be realistic at some point with yourself and that there are going to be people who are just going to be better at you right अनि आफ्नो स्किलहरू हुन्छ होइन आफ्नो एट्रिब्युट्सहरू हुन्छ सबै क्या जन्मेर समान हुँदैनन् होइन कसैको स्पेसलिटी केहीमा हुन्छ अब फर एक्जाम्पल टेकमा छ भने होइन कसैको स्पेसलिटी त्यसमा नहुनु पनि सक्छ कोही म्याथमा सानैदेखि जान्ने हुनसक्छ कोही होइन म्याथमा नजान्ने हुनु पनि सक्छ होइन अनि लाइक यु हेभ टु किप योरसेल्फ you have to be realistic right यति कन्फिडेन्ट भएर ओभर जान्ने भएर चाहिँ पनि हुनु भएन कि to the point like someone challenges you with all the beliefs that you have and then you get crushed like अनि crushed भएपछि डिप्रेसनमा जाने like that's a fast track to depression so being honest with yourself right and then being confident to the point where it's not like splashing into arrogancy. I think that's the most important thing. And other than that, just I found the confident killer to be overconfidence, right? Anything else that you would deal with?
You kind of touched on it, but I want to kind of add it. अर्को कुरा चाहिँ comparison क्या the comparison that we do with other people. Like you said, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be better than you, right? There's always going to be somebody that's going to have more money than you. So आफ्नो जिन्दगी अर्काको जिन्दगीसँग कम्पेयर गऱ्यो भने that's a biggest confident killer. किनकि the thing about life is we all are different क्या हामी मेरो आफ्नै जर्नी छ अन्वेशको उसकै जर्नी छ and for people that are watching out there all of you have your own journey gap so don't compare yourself with others that's going to be the biggest confident killer especially right now with social media like सजिलो हुन्छ क्या किनकि जब हामी सोसल मिडियामा गएर स्क्रोल हेर्छौँ स्टोरिजहरू हेर्छौँ we feel down because मान्छेहरू कहाँ कहाँ गएको के लगाएको देख्छौँ नि त and here we are like आज गरेछ काम भोलि गरेछ काम but मान्छेले सोसल मिडिया पोस्ट गर्ने भनेकै त्यही हो लाइक दे ओन्ली पोस्ट हाइलाइट्स एन्ड दे डोन्ट पोस्ट देयर स्ट्रगल दे डोन्ट पोस्ट देयर hardship or whatever they're going through so comparison is thief of joy and I 100% agree with that अनि अर्को चाहिँ just negative self talk yeah like whenever we're going through hard time it's easy to fall in that rabbit hole okay अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ भने इट्स इम्पोर्टेन्ट टु हेभ सेल्फ कम्प्यासन ममता आफूमा ममताहरू भएन भने होइन द्याट्स हाउ यु kind of fall into a bad path is with all the negative self-talk होइन अनि I think अघि भने जस्तै like emotional intelligence also comes in to this and impacts usually किनकि जब हामी whenever we start having self-talk होइन हामीले हामीलाई कन्ट्रोल गर्न सक्यो नि त ओके मेरो दिमागले यस्तो सोचिरहेछ म चाहिँ यस्तो सोच्नु हुँदैन भनेर वी क्यान डाइभर्ट द्याट थट्स होइन किनकि अन्तिममा गएर त we control our thoughts, we control our thoughts and we control how we think. I mean, not all of it. सबै थोक त कन्ट्रोल गर्न सकिँदैन किनकि the thoughts are just thoughts, but we have rights or we have capability to interpret how we interpret that thoughts. Yeah. So I think those are the biggest things for me is comparison and negative self-talk. And personally, like negative self-talk is something that I have struggled and that I've been kind of overcoming recently. But for me, like I think those two are the biggest for me.
Yeah, so I agree. I agree. Um, Another thing that I kind of want to add to that subtopic is the most important thing is realizing that it's a marathon. Life is a marathon, and it's not a sprint, right? So if you see someone that's yards in front of you or 5 feet in front of you, it doesn't mean that you started at the same point, right? They could have started at a different point, and so you can't compare yourself to someone else, right? Because everyone has their own journey, and sometimes it's not a straight journey. Sometimes it's very winding, like we've talked about this entire podcast. And yeah, again, like if you compare yourself to someone else, and you see yourself falling short, then don't be sad because there's someone else that's also comparing to you and feeling the same way. And going back to what San was saying, right? And social media, like you're gonna see a bunch of people, right? Especially now more than ever, right? People who eat better, live better, or are living in this fancy thing than you, or are going doing fancy things than you. But sometimes we lack the perspective of what's happening behind the scenes, right? Sometimes people really struggle to make the things that happen in front of camera, but there's so much sadness that happens behind cameras. So being mindful of things like that, right? Being mindful and being honest and just growing, at your own pace. त्यही चाहिँ सबभन्दा होइन कन्फिडेन्स किलर त्यो पनि हो होइन बट इफ यु क्यान वेपनाइज द्याट इज गन बी द हार्डेस्ट थिङ लाइक that's gonna be in your arsenal, right? Because learning about those things and then realizing that, like, you're doing the best that you can, I think is you can switch that from confidence killer to confidence boosters. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. त्यही हो पहिले पहिले त we gotta मैले अघि भने जस्तै we gotta be self compassion with ourselves, and whenever you're going through stuff, hard time or hardship, it's easy to not think that way, but we have to try to kind of think that way, or at least try to like maintain it, kinagi otherwise it's just going to be a slippery slope. What do you like I kind of want to, so हामीले धेरै थोक कभर गऱ्यो होइन कन्फिडेन्सको बारेबाट.
Mm-hmm.
What about faking confidence? What do you think about faking it until you make it? What do you think about that like term?
That's very interesting because I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you an example from my life. And I'm going to be honest again, brutally, because this is your podcast, right? And I wouldn't be as honest anywhere else. I just feel comfortable right here. They what I saying, like, I'm going to be honest, right? In the beginning, I faked my confidence, right? And I watched like things that would give me confidence, and one of those things was a TV series called Suits, right?
Yeah.
And you get a lot of confidence from the specific character called Harvey Specter. Because he's the guy, right? He's the best goddamn closer there is in New York. And I'm going to be honest, when I looked at that first, when my cousin recommended that for the first time, shout out to my cousin, but Rojil, right? But yeah, looking at that, you want to have a confidence like that. You want to be as charming as Harvey, and sometimes you're not. But what's the best you can do? Is that you can goddamn put that suit on and you can act like Harvey, right? And yeah, that's what I did for a couple of times until I found the confidence that I have now, right? And then that replaces what you were faking. But there are times, right? Let's just be honest that sometimes you feel out of place where you are. Sometimes you feel, you're not the smartest one, or you're not the one that's more experienced, or you're not the one that's youngest, whatever it may be, right? Different scenarios. And sometimes you just have to fake it, because if you goddamn deserve it to yourself to fake it too. You have to fake it until you make it. It's a very real thing, right? I've used it. I'm not gonna be dishonest about it, but I've used it plenty of times, to be honest. Just sometimes you just feel out of place where you are. कोही बेला होइन त्यस्तो लाग्छ कि म यो डिजर्भ गर्दिनँ अपर्च्युनिटी, अथवा म यो ठाउँमा हुनु डिजर्भ गर्दिनँ, अथवा you're worst critic, right? आफ्नो कमी कमजोरी आफूलाई मात्रै अलिक बेसी थाहा हुन्छ होइन. And there's always this thing that's always in the back of your head that's just this like evil person, right? And sometimes you see this in the movies. On your right shoulder is the good guy, on the left shoulder is the bad guy, and this bad guy is just like whispering to your ear saying, "You don't belong here," right? And sometimes you just have to power through it and just believe in yourself more than anyone else. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will, right? I think that's the most important thing, is that you have to believe in yourself. So fake it until you make it. Very real strategy. I've used it. I recommend it. And yeah, I want to know what you think. Have you ever faked it in any scenario?
That's a good question. I have, and I don't think there's anything wrong with using that. Um, I, in my opinion, it's a tool, right? It's a tool that you can use, and but I don't think it's something that you should use it all the time. You can't fake it all the time. You gotta be real sometime, and you gotta put in the effort, right? So I think it's a tool that you can use at the beginning, but over time that you kind of want to work towards actually having that confidence, whether that's something that you're learning or whether that's something that you're doing, right? अगाडिमा सुरुमा त it's a good technique and it's a good tool that you can utilize. तर the better you get, I think you should also like work on gaining that actual self confident क्या, किनकि you can't fake it all the time. Confident is a state of mind होइन. अनि some people has that energy क्या, that can sense if we're faking it. So in front of those people त्यो strategy काम लाग्दैन क्या. So सुरुमा त it's a good technique that you can use, but as you dive into like more things in whatever field or whatever you're doing, you kind of want to be real and try to build that confidence, yeah. But for the beginning, it's definitely a good technique to have.
So it's more like you get inspired first, right, from your confidence, and then you just go on from there, right? Exactly, exactly. And I love the way that you said confidence is a mindset. I think I would take it a little bit even further, and I would say confidence becomes a personality once you start to have the real thing, right? It becomes a part of you. It becomes what you're known for, right? And like going back to again this TV series called Suits, right? Like Harvey is known for his confidence. It's because that's not the state of mind he is in. That's just something that he possesses in his arsenal. Is that in any kind of situation, he's already on top of it, because A, he knows what he's talking about. B, he's done the homework to back it up. And C, thinks that he's the most competent lawyer there ever is, right? So he believes in himself. So they're those are the most powerful tools that you can have in your arsenal, is just know yourself, and then fake it until you make it, but then one day it's going to turn into a personality.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I totally agree. I totally agree with whatever everything you have said. I think it should be a way of life. तर अगाडिमा त time लाग्छ and it's gonna be a journey, you know. It's not you're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
have you're not gonna be the most confident person in the world in a day one, right? It's a journey that's gonna um, take time, and you should just be patient and just continue build on to it, because at the end, तिमीले भने जस्तै, like the more you do, the better, you know, you get, and that's how you kind of
In anything,
build into
right?
your life. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how you
yeah.
make it part of your personality. And um, it's going to be a journey, but it's a it's a journey, but one that's worth taking it, because when you have confidence, you can go after anything in life, whether that's, you
True.
know,
That's very true.
whether that's building business, or whether that's health, and or whether that's, you know, making difference in people's life. And hopefully that's you know, that's my end goal, is I want to make people, oh my god, that's my end goal, because, you know, like I want to make impact to people's life, and I need that energy or confidence, you know. And right now I might not be the most confident person in the world, but I know I can get there, and I will. And you know,
Mhm.
that's how I'm gonna get there, by
Yeah.
believing in
It,
myself. And
it's a
you know,
promise you make to yourself, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And then one thing I want to add is um, this is journey, and again, I want to remind everybody that this is not some competition, right? You're not trying to like, you know, compete to have the most confidence. I know there's like this trend out there where people talk about aura, like this guy is giving more aura than that, or that. But to be honest, it's not about competition. It's just about growth, and it's about like, you know, growth in a sense that you're proud to become the person that you are, you know. So you know, you're not doing this for anybody else. You're not doing it to show to some people, or to be better than your friends, or this or that, whatever your reason may be. You just have to dig deep until you find that you're doing this for yourself, and this is not a competition, because it's never going to end. It's a competition that's never going to end. So it's not even a competition, right? It's a it's a marathon. It's
yeah,
not a sprint. So you got to take it slow.
I agree with that. अनि तिमीले भने जस्तै होइन, it's a journey. And on that note, we've been going at it for almost an hour right now. Do you have anything that you want to add before we wrap up?
No, that's pretty much. I think we've summed it up, and we talked about everything. And you know what? You can tell me. Thank you for making you last this long. You know, an hour long. So
um,
I think we're improving all aspects of everything, viewer and Sam. So I'm very proud. You know. I'm very
yeah.
proud to be the first guest, but also, you know, to talk about this.
No, no, I definitely appreciate you taking your time, you know, for this, you know, doing this with me, and it's been fun. You know, before I go, I just want to thank you for, you know, being here and giving your time. We had a good conversation, and this was the second episode of this podcast.
Hmm.
Anwesh was actually my first guest, so hopefully I did okay. And केही भुलहरू
I think
भएमा,
you did fantastic.
thank you. केही भुलहरू भएमा क्षमा पाऊँ, त्यति भन्दै, you know, future episodes are going to be better. And like I said, you know, I want to acknowledge you for the person that you are. You're always
No,
honest.
man.
You're you
I'm
know,
always here for you, man.
you're always
One
there for
call,
me
I'm
as well.
always
Yeah.
here.
Um, त्यति
100%.
त्यति भन्दै, I kind of have a, I mean, I don't have a tradition, but I kind of want to start a tradition on this
Okay.
podcast. What I want to do is I want to ask our guests this
Mhm.
one question, right? And I think you know
Okay.
where I'm going with this. तिम्रो विचारमा
Do
चाहिँ,
you have Momo? Okay. Okay.
what is the meaning of life in your opinion?
um, okay. These are some deep Deep questions we're tackling today. What is the meaning of life? I think the meaning of life is different to everybody. So I'm gonna tell what it means to me, right? Because that makes the most sense. I think meaning of life is um, searching your soul, you know, because a lot of people go through life not searching what they want to do, who they want to be, or anything about knowing yourself, or just being scared of going out with yourself in public, right? Some people are scared to go by themselves to the movie theater and watch a movie alone, right? And I think the real happiness in life is it comes from being genuine and honest with yourself, right? And there's people that aren't by your side or with your side when they go to sleep, everything. You're here, right? So mentally, I think you have to make yourself very strong, and you have to know yourself to make yourself very strong. But with that being said, right, and there's different subtopics that we can go into in other podcasts if I get invited again when it comes to dopamine and yeah, like avoiding all those bad dopamine hits and then finding what you really love and having that and pursuing that and relentlessly, like because a lot of people don't pursue that relentlessly, just going after it, leaving a legacy behind because like experimento vibes, yeah, I know that they like I don't think that's very rewarding for me to just live and let life go by. And it might be different for everybody else, but living life just means being honest with yourself, being truly happy with yourself, and true happiness just comes from finding yourself. You know, so that is the meaning of life to me. I know that's a very long meaning of life, but I'm still trying to find what the meaning of life is. But to me, right now, that's what meaning of life is.
Yeah. No, that was actually beautiful. It was long but beautiful, and that's okay. Like your meaning of life does not have to make sense to other. It's yours
Mm-hmm.
for a reason, होइन? अनि त्यति भन्दै I wanna, like I said, I appreciate you popping up. Thank you so much again. अनि यदि तपाईँले अन्तिमसम्म सुनिनु भयो वा हेरिदिनु भयो भने thank you so much again. I know we went all over the place, but this is just the starting. त्यति भन्दै thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and make sure you live your life to the fullest, and yeah, make sure you be whatever you want to be. त्यति भन्दै, if you're listening this in the morning, make sure you have a good day. If you're listening at night, you have a good night. Peace out.